Muy buen día, estimados invitados especiales, autoridades y equipo académico y administrativo, estudiantes, egresados y público en general. Mi nombre es Georgina Galeano, soy la coordinadora académica del programa de Ingeniería Industrial y de Sistemas en Campus Tegucigalpa y en representación de Unitec, la Facultad de Ingeniería y el capítulo estudiantil del ISE Unitec Honduras 977, tengo el honor de darles la bienvenida a esta transmisión en vivo. En el marco de la Semana Internacional de Ingeniería 2020, que estamos cercanos a culminar, y en celebración del 20º aniversario del capítulo 977 del ISE, hemos programado la conferencia titulada IISE's Future and the Challenges After the Pandemic, impartido por un invitado muy especial. Para dar inicio a nuestro programa el día de hoy, cedemos la palabra al ingeniero César Orellana, quien es el director de la Facultad de Ingeniería en Unitec Campus San Pedro Sur, con unas palabras de bienvenida.
Hola a todos, espero que estén teniendo una buena tarde y que hayan disfrutado durante toda esta semana de todas nuestras actividades de la Semana Internacional de Ingeniería del año 2020. Este ha sido un esfuerzo de muchas personas a quien yo quisiera en este momento agradecer, a todas nuestras autoridades en la universidad, a todo nuestro equipo académico, profesores, líderes estudiantiles y estudiantes que han participado en esta actividad, en cada uno de los talleres y en cada una de las charlas. Además, contentos de tener a nuestros egresados, también a nuestras compañías con las que nosotros solemos trabajar, invitados en estas conferencias, y a todo el público en general que ha participado y que definitivamente sabemos que será de efecto positivo. Además, quiero reconocer que este año ha sido un año diferente para todos, pero ha sido un año de muchos éxitos para celebrar después del arduo trabajo que hemos desarrollado en la Facultad de Ingeniería por varios años. Uno de esos elementos históricos para reconocer es que en este momento 5 de nuestros programas de ingeniería han sido recientemente acreditados por 4 años más, lo que significa que nuestro esquema de calidad académica se mantiene y continúa creciendo. Además, en medio de todos los proyectos asociados a la educación basada en competencias, también hemos implementado proyectos que se materializan desde ya. Y esta también ha sido la semana en la que hemos celebrado la reforma del programa académico de ingeniería en biomédica, algo que nuestros estudiantes están viendo ya como un beneficio. Un hito también importantísimo ha sido el lanzamiento de nuestra ingeniería en ciencia de datos e inteligencia artificial, para ahora tener 8 programas de ingeniería disponibles para el público y también para el desarrollo de nuestro país. En este año también, y esa es una celebración especial para hoy, celebramos los 20 años del capítulo estudiantil del Instituto de Ingenieros Industriales y de Sistemas. Todos sabrán de la importancia de esta carrera y además de el nivel profesional de nuestros egresados de la ingeniería industrial y de sistemas. Además de todo lo que nuestros estudiantes participan y lo activos que son, y cómo eso les ha aportado en su crecimiento a nivel académico, pero además en su proyección como profesionales. Queremos agradecer en este marco de la celebración de los 20 años del capítulo estudiantil, queremos agradecer la participación de Don Green, quien está esta tarde para engalanar este casi cierre ya de nuestro programa de la Semana Internacional de Ingeniería, con apenas unas actividades más que estamos seguros que continuarán disfrutando. Así que queremos agradecer su participación, Don Green. Queremos agradecerle por estar aquí con nosotros y por celebrar. We want to thank you, Don Green. We are glad to have you here and celebrate with us. Felicidades a todos los que han participado y deseamos que todos estos movimientos que todos están participando sean finalmente para contribuir a nuestro país. Saludos para todos y que disfruten de lo que sigue en esta conferencia de esta tarde.
Agradecemos al ingeniero César Orellana, director de la Facultad de Ingeniería en Unitec, Campus San Pedro Sula, por sus palabras. Ahora damos la bienvenida al ingeniero Anael Espinal, director de Desarrollo Docente, que nos dará un breve recorrido en la historia del capítulo estudiantil de Unitec. El ingeniero Anael ha presenciado de cerca y formado parte importante de la evolución del capítulo como estudiante, miembro de la junta directiva, coordinador, jefe académico y asumiendo también el rol de Faculty Advisor. Le cedo la palabra al ingeniero Anael.
Bien, buenas tardes a cada uno de ustedes y realmente igual estoy bastante entusiasmado, emocionado porque pues hace un par de años atrás no nos hubiéramos estado imaginando celebrar los 20 años, ¿verdad? De una manera diferente, de una manera que involucra el tema tecnológico, ¿verdad? Y bueno, muy contentos con la celebración, ¿verdad? Me uno a las felicitaciones que decía el ingeniero Orellana y la ingeniera Georgina para el capítulo, ¿verdad? Son 20 años, pues 20 se mira un montón de tiempo, ¿verdad? Y definitivamente así lo es, pero han sido un montón de años bastante llenos de muchas historias, anécdotas de todas las juntas directivas y de todos los estudiantes. Realmente que también estoy muy contento, me uno a la celebración, ¿verdad? Del capítulo estudiantil 977 de Unitec en Honduras. Contando un poquito de la historia, ¿verdad? De cuándo nace nuestro capítulo, ¿verdad? Surge desde 1999 un grupo de estudiantes del programa de Ingeniería Industrial y de Sistemas de Unitec, junto con la asesoría en ese momento de la coordinadora de la carrera y del decano de la Facultad de Ingeniería, deciden apostarle a un proyecto de traer un vínculo y crear una alianza con un Instituto Mundial de Ingeniería Industrial, y deciden hacer una alianza con el Institute of Industrial Engineers en ese momento, ¿verdad? Desde el año 1999 empieza a desarrollar este proyecto y ya en el año 2000, un año después, se consolida y se crea el capítulo de Unitec Honduras y se le asigna el número 977. Pues por ahí con otros capítulos y otros países de la región, no, con uno sobre todo, discutimos que quién fue el primero, ¿verdad? Pero si no fuimos el primero, estuvimos dentro del primero o segundo capítulo a nivel de toda la región de Centro y Suramérica. Es decir, que somos uno de los capítulos más antiguos, ¿verdad? De la región Centro-Suramérica, la región 16, y realmente que han sido muchos años con bastantes actividades y bastantes anécdotas y alegrías con los estudiantes y muchas de las actividades que hicimos. En ese año, ¿verdad? Tenemos nuestra primera constitución y nuestros primeros estatutos y fueron firmados en ese momento el decano de la Facultad de Ingeniería era el ingeniero Luis Zelaya, ¿verdad? Que años después se transforma en el rector de la institución. Y la coordinadora del Departamento de Ingeniería Industrial y de Sistemas era la ingeniera Iise Calderón, que también asume el papel de Faculty Advisor más adelante. Y el primer presidente oficial del instituto que firma los estatutos y la constitución de ese momento fue Rigoberto Romero. Rigoberto junto con otro grupo, había otro grupo también que que fue el encargado de consolidar el proyecto, ya luego Rigoberto y consolidó una junta directiva y crearon la primera junta directiva oficial del capítulo, y luego año con año, así durante 20 años hemos venido pasando los estatutos, ¿verdad? De planilla a planilla cada uno de los años y haciendo crecer el capítulo. En el año 2012 hay un hito importante en ese año porque justamente desde el año 2000 hasta el año 2012 Unitec Tegucigalpa y Unitec San Pedro Sula éramos un solo capítulo y en el 2012 se decide reformar la constitución y los estatutos del capítulo de Unitec para poder crear dos capítulos independientes y que las juntas directivas de ambos capítulos fueran juntas directivas oficiales ante el Instituto de Ingenieros Industriales. Y la última reforma fue en el año 2020, pero más que todo fue para adaptarnos al nuevo nombre, porque el instituto en el 2016 había cambiado de llamarse el Institute of Industrial Engineer al Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineer. Entonces, en el 2020, ¿verdad? Hacemos la reforma y la adaptación a la Constitución. Estos han sido los logos que hemos utilizado a lo largo de los 20 años. Durante los primeros 7 años de conformación del capítulo utilizamos el mismo logo del instituto a nivel internacional, pero la planilla del 2008, ¿verdad?, decide y dice que teníamos que tener una personalidad más propia, ¿verdad?, en nuestro capítulo, y deciden proponer un nuevo logo que iba a estar durante cerca de 3 años, ¿verdad? Luego la planilla en el 2011, ¿verdad?, a raíz de ciertos lineamientos que envió el instituto, tuvimos que modificar y bueno, esto se lanzó un concurso, los estudiantes propusieron y este fue el logo que estuvo vigente hasta el 2015. Y en el 2016, con el cambio del nombre del instituto, se le agregó la palabra Systems, la S, ¿verdad?, al nombre, al instituto de manera general. Entonces, todos los logos de todos los capítulos a nivel mundial cambiaron, ¿verdad? Y este es el logo que mantenemos hasta hoy en día. Y este es el logo conmemorativo de los 20 años que se está usando durante este año, particularmente para poder celebrar los 20 años que tiene el capítulo. Este es un poco un homenaje, ¿verdad?, a todas las juntas directivas, a los chapter officers que estuvieron desde el año 2000 hasta el 2020. Estas son las primeras planillas desde el año 2000 hasta el 2006. Espero que estén conectados algunos de ustedes y que se puedan ver en estas fotografías, ¿verdad?, y que puedan ver que todavía pues agradecemos todo el esfuerzo que ustedes hicieron, porque definitivamente sin el esfuerzo de estas planillas iniciales no sería el capítulo estudiantil que es hoy por hoy. Y hay una planilla en particular, que es la planilla 2007, que esa es la planilla donde tuve la oportunidad de liderar. Ahí está Sonia, Estefanía, está su servidor, Rubén, y bueno, y nuestra amada Cris, que ya no está con nosotros, pero siempre la recordamos mucho y la estimamos. Luego, la planilla del 2008 hasta el 2013, ¿verdad?, todas las juntas directivas, los officers de nuestro capítulo. Y finalmente, del 2014 hasta el 2019, ¿verdad?, que fueron ya muchas de estas planillas de las anteriores, y estas tuve la oportunidad de compartir con cada uno de ustedes como Faculty Advisor de ustedes. Y finalmente, pues la planilla 2020, que es la que está organizando esto, ¿verdad?, que quiero felicitarlos y quiero también unirme a la celebración que ustedes están haciendo. Y bueno, tuvieron el privilegio de celebrar los 20 años del capítulo. También recordar los Faculty Advisor que estuvieron a lo largo de estos 20 años, ¿verdad?, iniciando con el ingeniero Luis Zelaya, ¿verdad?, que él inició como el decano de la Facultad de Ingeniería cuando inicia todo este capítulo, y luego fue Faculty también, Advisor, y también la ingeniera Jessica Calderón, la ingeniera Heidi Mendoza, el ingeniero Jaime Pérez, la ingeniera Bélgica Quiroz, su servidor, y hoy por hoy, ¿verdad?, la ingeniera Georgina Galeano, que es quien está liderando y apoyando, ¿verdad?, desde la academia a todos los estudiantes de esta planilla 2020 que están organizando muchas actividades. Algunos logros que ha tenido el capítulo a lo largo de los años: hemos tenido varias publicaciones en el International Chapter Leader News y en la revista internacional del instituto, el ISE, el ISE. Otro logro también, en el 2007, ¿verdad?, ganamos nuestro primer premio en el Chapter Recognition Program, y desde el 2007 hasta el día de hoy no hemos parado de ganar premios, ¿verdad? El primero fue en el 2007, que fue un Silver Award. En el 2008 volvimos a ganar un Silver Award, y a partir del 2009 hasta el 2020, 2019, perdón, hemos ganado 10 premios oro, ¿sí?, del Gold Award. Entonces, han sido logros que realmente se han visto reflejados por todo el trabajo que los estudiantes han venido realizando. En el 2009 tuvimos la oportunidad de ser anfitriones del 6º Congreso Regional Universitario de la región Centro y Suramérica, y fue el primer Congreso Internacional del Instituto de la región Centro y Suramérica que se realizaba fuera de Colombia, y fue justamente en Honduras. Nosotros como anfitriones en Unitec. Y en el 2017 fuimos los anfitriones del 14º conferencia regional de la región Centro y Suramérica también, y ya era la segunda ocasión en la que nosotros estábamos participando ya como anfitriones de un congreso internacional tan importante. Y hoy por hoy, tenemos la dicha, el honor de tener a Don Green, ¿verdad?, para dar unas conferencias. Now I'm going to switch to English to thank to Don Green, the CEO of the Institute of Industrial and System Engineer, for accepting the invitation to give us this conference about the future of industrial and system engineering. And I'm sure that it will be interesting for everyone, especially for the officer of our student chapter at Unitec. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Georgina, for the invitation. And thank you, the academic authority. And congratulations to the student chapter of Unitec Tegucigalpa for the 28th anniversary. So, thank you.
Agradecemos al ingeniero Anael Espinal, director de Desarrollo Docente, por compartir con nosotros la historia del capítulo. Seguidamente tenemos la participación de Don Green. Don es ingeniero industrial de Georgia Institute of Technology y MBA de Georgia State University. Está registrado como ingeniero profesional. Es ejecutivo certificado de asociaciones y miembro de distintas asociaciones profesionales. Actualmente desempeña el papel de CEO y director ejecutivo del Instituto de Ingenieros Industriales y de Sistemas a nivel mundial. Hoy estará compartiendo su tema con nosotros en inglés. Entonces ahora yo hago el switch. Y les cuento que Don Green is the CEO and Executive Director of the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers. With Don at the helm, IISE has created new areas of business and innovative service delivery, while achieving unprecedented revenue and income growth. IISE developed and implemented new models for membership, strategic plans, a code of conduct, a policy on diversity, a conflict of interest policy, and many other leading association practices. Don has led the Institute to partner with several international associations and to sponsor initiatives that improve the image and visibility of our profession. Prior to coming to IISE, Green served as Managing Director of the International Gas Turbine Institute, an institute within the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. He has also been the Director of Member Services and Operations for Polaris International, an association of independent public accounting firms. Don was also an industrial engineer for Scientific Atlanta and a cost engineer for Procter & Gamble. Don received his bachelor's degree in industrial engineering from the Institute of Technology and an MBA from Georgia State University. He became a registered professional engineer and is also a certified association executive. He's a member of several professional associations, as well as the Industry Advisory Board for Georgia Tech School of Industrial and Systems Engineering. Without further ado, it is a privilege to present to you Don Green.
Thank you, Georgina. Georgina, can you see my slides right now? Is the presentation up yet?
It's loading. Yes, now I can see it.
You can see it. Okay, good. Well, thank you very much. And I want to thank you for that introduction, and thank you also for the invitation to speak to the group today. I will apologize up front. This is going to be entirely in English because I think everyone who's listening to this, your language skills are better than mine, and I only have the English language. So that's what we'll be speaking today. It's a real pleasure to be here. I have to say that probably the best part of my job as CEO of IISE is the chance to represent IISE at our chapter meetings and at our conferences, and especially those that involve the students. I wish I could be there in person. This is the first one I've done virtually. I've done a lot of student chapter meetings in person, and they're so much fun. And so we're going to try to make this one fun too, but it won't be the same as being there, but it's a pleasure to be with you today. Today, I'm going to talk about engineering and professional societies. My presentation is going to primarily focus on the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers, because that's what I know. That's where I work. But I recognize that some of those listening today are not industrial engineers. So I want to assure you that I'm familiar with most engineering associations like ours, and your professional association, I'm quite sure, has similar services to those I'm going to talk about today. And what I really want to emphasize for all of you is no matter your discipline of engineering, your professional association can be a great tool and help you throughout your career. A little bit about myself. Georgina told you some of this already. I am an industrial engineer. Even before I'd heard of industrial engineering, I was thinking like an IE, and if you're an IE, you know what I mean. In fact, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia in the USA, and chose Georgia Tech for my college simply because I was good at math. And I knew that that must mean engineering. So I went to Georgia Tech and didn't even know there was such a thing as industrial engineering. So I looked through their catalog and eliminated all the others because they didn't sound like me and didn't sound like what I was good at. But when I got to industrial engineering and I began to talk about improving processes and effectiveness and efficiency, well, that was me. And I knew right then that I was an industrial engineer, whether I knew it or not, and that's what I chose for my major. I did not set out to be the CEO of a nonprofit organization, didn't in fact choose to make a career in the nonprofit world. As Georgine said, I started out with Procter & Gamble. You've probably heard of a large multinational company. I was working in a paper mill, a pulp mill. And just to be honest, I hated that job. I did not like anything about working in a pulp mill and being an industrial engineer. After I'd been out of school for a few months, I thought I might have made the worst mistake of my life in choosing industrial engineering. This is what they do. But I left there after a little while and went to work for Scientific Atlanta, which is an electronics manufacturing company. Enjoyed it immensely and thought, now I found my niche. I knew industrial engineering was for me. I just had to find the right place. And after a few years, I got a call from someone that I knew who worked at IISE. And they asked me if I was familiar with the association, and I was glad to be able to tell them that I not only was familiar with them, I was a member and had been a member since I was a student and had maintained my membership all through my professional career. And so they were looking to hire an IE, and that phone call led me to going to work for IISE back then. I have worked for 3 nonprofit organizations, IISE twice and then 2 others, and a nonprofit has been a great career for me. The point of that story is for you students is for me to tell you that right now, as you're nearing your graduation and looking to move out into the world of work, you don't know where your career is going to take you. Believe me, when I was a student, I had no idea I would end up being CEO of IISE. But I can tell you this, you don't know where your career is going to take you, but I can promise you that wherever it takes you, your education as an engineer is going to have you very well prepared to be successful. The second point of that story is that when you do look to change jobs, it's going to depend a lot on knowing somebody. Your degree may get you an interview the first time, but after that, a lot of job changes come because you know somebody that works there. Let's talk a little bit about the profession of engineering. The profession is in high demand right now, all around the globe. The job market is strong. Today, I think more than ever with this pandemic going on, there's a real need for engineering principles in the marketplace. Engineers played a key role in the economic resurgence that occurred back in the mid-2010s, say 2015 to 19. And it's going to be a key driver again in the turnaround that's really already beginning around the world, in the United States, particularly in the wake of the pandemic. Industrial engineers specialize in things like analytics, efficiency, productivity, lean, quality, effectiveness, and we're the experts, and they matter more than they ever have in the world today. Engineering is booming all around the world. Many countries are seeing a growth and expansion in manufacturing, logistics, supply chain, big data, data analytics, and many other areas where engineers excel. Global communication skills. I did not pick those up when I was in school, but I know that you all have already and you'll continue to. Global communication skills and cultural knowledge are going to be critical to the success of engineers as companies do business all around the world. Companies recognize that social responsibility isn't just the right thing to do, but it's also good for business. I've seen companies like Walmart, UPS, John Deere, Disney, Johnson & Johnson, Boeing, and many, many more with sustainability initiatives. And in all of those sustainability initiatives, engineers are playing key roles. The future of our profession really is in today's colleges and universities. And although you don't know where your career is going to take you, you can rest assured your degree is going to have you ready for anything. And I want to also assure you your professional association is going to better prepare you to succeed. Many of you are industrial engineering students, but I recognize that we have some attendees from other disciplines, and you may not even know what industrial engineering is. So let's talk just a couple of minutes about what ISEs do and try to explain how we think. You see the bullets on the screen there on my slide. You can see the textbook definition of industrial and systems engineering in that first bullet. It may be a bit confusing when you see the word systems. We are not systems engineers that many of you may think of systems engineers, in the sense that we're not computer engineers. We're not computer systems focused. We're systems thinkers, and we recognize that everything that works together much better if it works systemically and it's more effective. ISEs really take the same basic foundational courses in math and science that all engineering disciplines take, but then we bring in optimization and operations research and statistics and a lot of business courses like economics and accounting and finance, a lot of information technology courses. So that's what an industrial and systems engineer is. IISc actually used to have a bumper sticker back in the day when I first came to work here, and that bumper sticker said, "Engineers make things and industrial engineers make things better." And to be perfectly frank, I never liked that phrase because it seemed to me to imply that industrial and systems engineers don't make things, when in fact we make a lot of things. But I can absolutely certify the second part of that phrase. There's no doubt that ISEs do excel at making things better. ISEs work in practically all areas and all industries: manufacturing, healthcare, distribution, logistics, supply chain, retail, service, and even nonprofits, as I'm an example. All of them employ industrial and systems engineers because they're all looking to make their organizations more effective and more efficient. Let's talk a little bit about your careers. I'm going to make a pretty safe assumption that all of you are probably planning to get a job when you graduate. And I'm going to make a second safe assumption, I believe, that none of you plan to stay in that first job until you retire. And what that means is you're all planning to change jobs at some point in your career. And guess what? Like I said a few minutes ago, you have to know somebody. It helps a lot. You're going to need some help when it's time to change jobs. My own career has been really pretty stable. I've had 6 different jobs throughout my career. Most of you will probably have more than that, would be my guess. And I will say my degree helped me get my first job. It got me the interview with Procter & Gamble. But every job since then has come to me because of somebody I knew at the company that I ended up being hired by. And I think that's the greatest value that IISE and other engineering associations provide. We enable you to build your professional network. Nothing beats getting to know other engineers in your chosen profession and knowing them well. That is the way it works, and that is what we do better than any other place you can find to build a network. So let's talk about IISE for a minute. You can see some things on the slide. We were founded in 1948, so we've been around more than 70 years. We were actually founded in Columbus, Ohio, in the United States, by some alumni of Ohio State University. You've probably heard of Ohio State, and they've got a large IE school. And they were the founding organization that started IISE back in 1948. You can see our vision and our mission on the slide there. The organization, in a nutshell, really represents and supports the profession. We support industrial engineers, and everything we do is geared to making industrial and systems engineers better at their jobs. In 2018 and 2019, IISE's volunteer and staff leadership worked together to develop a new strategic plan. You can see the plan summarized on the page in front of you. It encompasses the new mission and vision that you all just saw on the previous slide, and is founded on 4 pillars of success: integrating the profession, including all, strengthening the image of the profession, and excelling in customer experience. So you can read those for yourselves right there on the slide. Within each of those 4 pillars, we have goals and metrics, and we're engineers. You would expect we would all have goals and metrics for everything we do, and our strategic plan is no exception. Within each of those 4 pillars also, there are 4 or 5 objectives that I'm not going to show you on the screen, and a total of 40 to 50 action items. So it's a very detailed strategic plan. It governs everything that IISE does. Implementation is being driven by our many volunteer groups, groups like our operating boards, our societies, our divisions, our chapters, our conference committees, and everyone else that's involved in ISE. The board of trustees and the staff are also driven by our strategic plan. As I said, I'm not going to go into the lower levels of the plan, but I do encourage you, if you're interested in knowing more about this plan, it's available on our website and also on our social media and in many other places. If you just Google IISC strategic plan, it's going to start showing up. Or if you go to our website on the very front page and look under About Us, you'll see the strategic plan and all of the details. So it's a very good plan. It's driving everything that we do as an organization. How do we deliver value? That's what this slide is all about. There are certain basic elements that come with membership in IISC. And as I said, my presentation is focusing on IISC, but most of these basic elements would be true no matter what professional society you join. As I've already told you, the greatest benefit that we provide is the opportunity to build your professional network. We do this in a lot of ways. But like anything else, I will tell you, the more you put into your membership, the more you're going to get out of it. If you just join and don't go to conferences and don't do virtual events and don't join a chapter, you won't really get much out of it. But if you get active and get engaged, you'll get more out of it than you put into it. On this slide, I've highlighted the basic products and services that are available from IISC and really for most other associations, things like networking, technical groups, job search, training, publications, and a lot more. And on these next several slides, I'm going to talk about these services in more detail. Let's start with professional networking. When you're a student, you probably take networking for granted. Under normal conditions, and we all know these are not normal conditions, but under normal conditions, if you were on campus, you'd be networking with dozens or even hundreds of other students that all have the same major. Networking's not hard when you're a college student. But after you graduate, networking does get harder. And to be honest, it also gets much more important. Whether you're looking for a solution to a problem, trying to find that next job, or looking for a place to live after you graduate, you need a network of people that you can trust. Professional associations like IISC provide those opportunities for face-to-face and virtual networking that allow you to build that network. Whether through conferences, chapters, technical groups, virtually, every way that there is, we enable you to maintain connections that help you solve problems, identify opportunities, and build relationships. Our social networking communities are great ways to connect with peers. And the membership directory that we have also allows you to easily search for common members that you may know. Let's talk about some of those groups. Technical societies and divisions, every association has these, and we have a number. I think we have 16 different technical groups that connect our members. They are our societies and our divisions. They're industry-based. They're also discipline-specific based. Each of those societies and divisions provides valuable networking and knowledge transfer services. And by that, I mean they teach you more about that specific area of interest. Many of our groups publish their own newsletters. They hold regular conference calls. They program tracks at the annual conference. They sponsor their own conference. They publish their own magazine and a lot of other technical information-based services. So if any of these look like something as you move out into the profession that you're working in, you should join that society or that division, and you'll have a wealth of resources at your fingertips to learn more. Iise Connect, that's a fairly new service for us. We've had it now for a few years. It's a members-only platform that allows you to connect with over 14,000 colleagues who are all industrial and systems engineers and are all members of IISE. If you want to, you can think of it like an advanced IISE-only version of LinkedIn. You'll have enhanced communications. They'll enable you to receive messages that are more structured and easier for you to read. You can tailor them to how you like them to be. There's a mobile app that makes it very easy to access Iise Connect, either from your laptop or your computer or your phone. They're delivered in the format and in the frequency that you prefer. So whether you want to join communities with people with common interests, receive communications about specific topics, find other ISEs in your state or your region or within a specific company, participate in real-time discussions, get expert advice, get questions answered, Utilize the library that's available in Connect as a resource. Publish your own personal blog. Maybe you're a blogger and you'd like to get your own platform out there. You can do that in Connect. You can create an event. If you want to get together with everybody that's in the area at a certain place at a certain time, it's very simple in Connect to create an event or to view all the other upcoming events that are going on in your area. It's really your resource for all your needs as an industrial and systems engineer. I think all of our members benefit a great deal from Connect. It's such an easy way to do just what it says, connect with others. Leadership development. This one is a sometimes overlooked value that professional associations provide. I think many of our members have found that the leadership skills that they've developed and sharpened from volunteering serve them well in their own careers. And we offer a lot of different ways to serve and lead. You can serve on a conference committee. You can get active in a chapter, a society, a division. You can serve on an operating board. You can do a newsletter. There's so many ways to volunteer and be a leader. I think we have over 2,000 volunteer leaders in IISE. We have a staff of about 30. So to have 30 staff and 2,000 volunteers, we could not begin to do all the work we do without all of the excellent and active volunteer leaders that we have. It really is an inexpensive and low-risk way for you to develop skills that are going to help you progress in your career. And I know several of you are already chapter officers, so you're already well on your way to progressing through the leadership process. I want to tell you a story about someone. I think two of you may know him because I saw his name on one of those certificates that Anel was showing to begin with. Doug Robinek. I know Doug well, and Doug's a longtime volunteer leader at IISE. And there was a time he was just like you. He was an IE student at the University of Pittsburgh. And I've heard Doug tell this story. And Doug said that when he was a student at Pittsburgh, he joined the local chapter there on campus. He became newsletter editor. He became vice president. He became president of the student chapter. Then he graduated and took a job at HB Maynard, and he stayed active in IISC. He joined the professional chapter at Pittsburgh, and he again followed that same route. He became newsletter editor. He became their conference coordinator. He became their program leader for the annual conference. He became their vice president and ultimately their chapter president. After that, he volunteered and ran for office. He became a region vice president, a senior vice president, and ultimately became president of IISE. So he truly stayed a volunteer leader his entire career. But what happened in his real job and in his job at HB Maynard, he said that he was beginning to get his evaluations every year, and his managers were telling him, they said, Doug, we're seeing real growth in you. You're becoming a better leader, a better manager, a better presenter, a better project manager. And can you tell us, what do you attribute that development to? How are you gaining this skill? Because we'd like to replicate it with some of our other employees. And Doug didn't hesitate. He said, it's my involvement in IISE now. He said, it's because of all these volunteer leadership positions that I've held. And he said, I have to manage projects, have to make presentations, have to organize committee meetings, have to lead volunteer groups. And there's nothing harder than managing volunteers. And he said, all of that has made me better at my job. So Doug is a prime example of someone who advanced in his career, and he will credit much of that advancement in his own professional career to his involvement in IISE. So I can't encourage you enough to stay active after you graduate and to continue to develop your skills. So you're going to graduate. And I just told you why it's important for student members to maintain their membership after they do graduate. IISC is a critical tool for engineers throughout their career. Membership has helped countless of our members find the right opportunities, advance to other positions, other companies, and just really succeed in their careers. And we have some services specifically targeted to new graduates who are moving into their first stages of their careers. We support these young professionals with tools and knowledge that they need to succeed. We help them create that network that's really essential for their career growth. And one of the ways we do this is by connecting these young graduates with what we call the young professionals. That's a formal group within IISE. They're very active. They help our students transition from student to professional after they graduate. So let's talk a little bit about the young professionals. As I said, right now, most of you are students, and I hope most of you are student members of either IISE or your own professional association if you're not an IE major. But after you graduate, you should stay active in that professional society. And there is a group that's a natural home for you, and that is the young professionals. They help you progress and transition after you graduate. And it's not as easy as it sounds. You're going to get, right now, things are pretty structured for you. You're going to get that diploma, you're going to take a job, and you're going to be thrown into it. It's hard to find the help you need to make basic, simple decisions about where do I live and how do I progress in my career and what should I and shouldn't I do and what do I wear and all sorts of things like that. The young professionals are a very vibrant, very active group, and they provide lots of professionals as well as personal and social networking services to our members. They sponsor activities, they sponsor sessions at the annual conference, they're extremely active on our social media. They're really just a great resource to help new graduates find employment, get answers to some on-the-job questions, continue to career develop if it requires you to transition to a different company, or just settle into a new place after you graduate and take a position. They also offer lots of those leadership development opportunities I was talking to you about earlier. It's a great way to help you transition from being a student today to a professional tomorrow. Another thing we give a lot of is education and training, and I've listed a lot of our education and training opportunities on this slide. Our various conferences, such as the annual conference, the Applied Ergonomics Conference, the Health Systems Conference, our Lean and Six Sigma Conference, and we've got a number of different one-day events as well. We call them Agile events. We do a lot of training programs and certificate programs, and we do them in a lot of different formats. You can attend public courses in person. You can take the courses on a schedule that meets your needs online or after you graduate, or you can have ISE come to your employer's location to tailor and teach these courses to your peers after you've taken a job in a company. We also partner with student chapters to offer training courses. We'll talk about that more in depth in a moment, but our Lean and Six Sigma Greenbelt courses are very valuable to students to make them more attractive to potential employers. Many of our student and professional courses are available in Spanish as well as English, so we try to tailor those to your needs as well. We offer a lot of webinars, and I mean a lot of webinars. You should go to our website and look, and they are top-notch quality. This year, I think they've been better than ever. And if you're a member, you can go back and access any and all of our webinars we've held previously because they're all recorded and available to listen to. And we also do a lot of podcasts. This is a little microburst, a 20 to 60 minute session of information and education on a wide range of topics. Usually it's a renowned expert who's sharing some information with our members. So we reach you every way we can, whether it's through a big conference, a small training program, a short podcast, or a webinar. Let's talk about the first big one that you're probably interested in that I really want to make sure you know a lot about, and that's the annual conference. You've probably seen that if you're a member, and you may have even attended in the past in some of the previous years. This year, though, it's going to be different. There's big changes coming for the annual conference in 2020. If you know our schedule, you know it's usually held in May. This year, because of the pandemic, we were forced to postpone it until November, and we've had to transition it several times. It's transitioned from an in-person event in May to an in-person event in November to a hybrid event in November, and it's now a fully virtual event in November. You may not know that, and because that just really took place a couple of weeks ago, it just doesn't make sense right now to encourage and engage people and ask them to come to New Orleans to attend the conference in large numbers. That we did not feel that would be safe, and in the interest of our members' health and safety, we've converted it to a fully virtual event. Now, this is important for you because whether you're in Honduras or in other areas of the world, it's going to be much easier now for you to participate in the annual conference. Everyone can attend. There's no travel needed. It's going to have live and pre-recorded sessions. It's going to have networking events, exhibits, town halls, many of the other meetings. What we're trying to do really is to replicate the annual conference experience. So if you've been to it before, and then you go this year virtually, I'm not going to pretend it's going to be the same thing, but I think you'll see a lot of the same things, and I hope you'll get a lot out of it. It's significantly discounted, particularly for students. There are some deep student discounts available for the registration fee, and you can reduce those further if your university registers at least 5 students, because we have volume discounts for 5 or more students. If it goes over 20 students, it goes even into a deeper discount. Or you can volunteer to serve as a volunteer, a moderator at the conference. If you serve as a moderator, you also get a discount. There are no travel costs to attend. So I want to encourage really everyone that's listening to this session. If you're an industrial and systems engineer, you'll never have a better opportunity to take advantage of the conference and to virtually attend this year's ISE annual conference. It's about 8 weeks away. Go to our website, take a look at it. If you do want to volunteer, you can contact Bill Gibbs on our staff, and Bill would be glad to have you come on as a volunteer moderator. But if you just want to register, we want to see you there. We would love to have you, and I think it's a great way for you to begin to engage right now as a student in the IISE. I talked about the training courses. I want to focus right now on the online courses because they're probably the ones you would best be able to take advantage of. As you progress in your career, it's going to be critical that you maintain your technical and managerial knowledge and skills. Or as a student, that's easy. You take classes, you're current, you know the stuff. But when you've been out for a while, it's important that you stay modern and current and keep up to date on the latest in industrial and systems engineering. And there's no better way than to take our training opportunities that we provide. And there's no easier way than to take the online courses. It's very cost effective. It's very convenient. You can do it on your own time, on your own schedule. It's online, on demand. Many of our courses, practically, I think all of our courses are available online. That means there's a wide range of industrial and systems engineering topics, management related topics. We make them available in modular format in many cases. So if you look at our Lean and Six Sigma courses and say, I don't need 24 hours on Lean, I need 3 specific topics, you can do that. And you can only pay for those 3 topics and take them in a couple of hours. So there's a lot of ways to take advantage of our training opportunities, and online is probably your most cost-effective and most convenient way of doing so. I'm not sure whether your student chapter does this. I apologize for not having done my homework and finding out if you're one of the ones that does this. But we have a lot of student chapters that partner with IISc to co-host the Lean and Six Sigma Greenbelt courses. And these benefit the attendees, and they also benefit the chapter. And I'm going to tell you how, and then I'm going to tell you why it's easier now than ever before to take advantage of this if you haven't been doing it in the past. These classes are open to members. They're open to non-members. They're open to ISE students. They're open to other students who are majoring in other disciplines, because Lean and Six Sigma are often cross-discipline barriers, and many engineering types and even business types are interested in Lean and Six Sigma. So the chapters often invite local professionals who may want to attend. In the end, you get a certificate, a Greenbelt certificate in either Lean or Six Sigma. And those Greenbelt certificates can be very great additions to your resume when you're looking for employment. I've had several members. I could tell you anecdotes about some of our members who have talked to me afterwards that said their certificates differentiated them from their competitors when they were applying for jobs, and they specifically got hired because of our training and because they had the Lean or Six Sigma Greenbelt. I've had others who said, I already had a job offer, but when I added the Greenbelt certificate, they offered me more money. So it's a good way to make yourself a very attractive candidate when you're graduating and looking for a job. It's also a great way for the chapters to make some money, because this is something most of our student chapters do. They add a little bit to the registration fee that we charge them, and then they in turn keep that money, and it funds their activities. It funds their conferences like the ones you're participating in now. It funds their social events. It's their money. So if your chapter is looking for a way to generate some funds, these student chapter training programs are great ways to do it, and at the same time to benefit the student members that are there that are getting the certificates. And this year, because of the pandemic, we're offering 3 different formats for these classes. Traditionally, we've always offered them in person, where we go on the campus and teach the training program. We can still do that if the chapter wants us to, but we're discovering, not surprisingly, that most chapters don't want us to do that this year. So the 2 options they're choosing, one is where we live stream. That is, we have an instructor who is remote somewhere teaching the course, and he or she is giving the instruction to the students who are somewhere else, and they're taking it on their computers. But the most popular is the online courses. We've got all of our Lean and Six Sigma Greenbelt courses available online, and they're available online on demand, so you can take them in your own time. And that's what our student chapters are doing this year, primarily because of the pandemic, where we can't go on campus and teach large groups. They're enabling us to teach these classes to their student members online, and the students like it. It's more convenient for them. The chapters like it because they're continuing to offer the training, and we like it because we want to reach out there to all of our students that we can. So this might be the best chance that you'll ever have in Honduras and elsewhere in the world to take advantage of student chapter training like this. So if your chapter's never been able to do this in the past, either because of distance or cost, this is a great year to start doing this. So please go to our website or reach out to IISE. We'll help you get started. We'll help you make this happen, and you can do it in the fall or the spring. So we'll do it in the schedule that meets your needs. Another area that we offer services in is publications. You see them listed here on the screen in front of you. We've got a wide array of publications for engineers, both in industry and academia. We've got 2 award-winning magazines. You see them on the screen here, and we've got 4 research-oriented journals. So whether you're working in industry after you graduate from college or you take an academic track for your career, we can help you with information. We can help you get published. We can help you be the author that you're seeking to be. We can provide you a good opportunity to both publish and to read some very good award-winning publications. They're all available in print. They're all available online, and all past issues are fully archived. So if you're doing research on a topic and you want to look at something that was published in 2013, it's as simple as looking it up on our website because all the archived issues are there. An area of service that I know is of interest to all of you as students is job search. And that's a key way, really, that IISE and all other engineering associations benefit their members. Within IISE, we've got several formal ways of helping our members find employers and in matching companies with potential employees. We've got a career center that enables members to post their resumes and their skills. It also allows companies to browse those resumes and search for potential employees. We hold a virtual career fair every fall that enables students to meet with a number of prospective employers virtually. But as valuable as those formal services are, as I've already told you, I think the informal support that comes from IISE is even better and even more important. I've always heard the phrase, and I've always found it to be true, that finding a job is all about who you know. And at ISE, the networking connections that you make in various ways will provide you that ready-made network if and when you need it, and you will need it for the purpose of finding that next job. In addition, I've already told you about our training. It helps you keep your skills current. That may not seem important as a student, but after you've been out for a while, employers like to see that you're continuing to grow technically and professionally, and our training is the best way for you to do that. We've also got corporate partnerships with more than 70 different companies, and this helps job search. It really does. You can see a lot of the major companies that are listed on the screen here. This isn't all 70 of them, but I picked out some that you may be familiar with. And one of the key services that we help these corporate partners receive from ISE is in hiring. They review all the resumes, they review the postings, and maybe more importantly, they make direct connections with our student members at specific events, at conferences, at virtual career fairs. So seeing these corporate partners in ISE, if they know you're a member, that you've already got a connection with them because they know us and they're paying us to help find their next industrial and systems engineers, and we're helping you be that next industrial engineer. We haven't talked a great deal about the pandemic, but I can tell you right now that it has impacted IISE just as like it has impacted everyone else around the world. We've always thrived because of our members, and support from our dedicated members is really critical right now to leading IISE out of the current crisis. We're fortunate that we've got strong, proven leaders, both in the volunteer and on the staff side. We've put together a good plan. I've already told you a lot about it. We've really re-engineered all of our products and services to deliver them virtually. And we're working with a real sense of urgency. I can't underscore that enough, that we understand your needs and we understand our needs as an association, and we're merging the two in ways that I think will benefit the industrial engineering profession and will benefit IISE. The best thing our volunteer leaders and our members can do right now is to really rally around the Institute. They can take advantage of the products and the services that have been re-engineered to meet their needs. Members and volunteers play a key role in all of those services. They provide the meat for the product. By that, I mean the content, the topic. They provide really leading edge, rich content for all of our activities. And that's what volunteers do best. They provide the substance that makes the services valuable. And then our job is to facilitate the delivery of those services to the marketplace. A second thing that groups like chapters can do is to encourage their peers to take advantage of this content. Trust me when I say that, and you probably know this if you're a member, we reach out a lot to our members and to our customers with news about IISE, but a message is much more better received and effective if it's sent by one of their colleagues and one of their peers. So we are asking all of our members to encourage their peers and their colleagues to take advantage of the content, whether it's the annual conference, whether it's the student chapter training, or whether it's something else that we do, whether it's just membership, because revenue from our conferences and our training are key parts of the ISE business model. So I want to encourage everyone that's seeing this presentation tonight to consider attending that virtual annual conference. As I said earlier, there are significant student discounts available. You will never have a better chance to take advantage and to attend the annual conference. Also consider the online student chapter training. It's a great training program. It will help you in your career. It will help you get that job, and it's more available to you right now than it's ever been before. In the end, I will say this crisis that we're facing is breeding innovation. It's leading to new offerings, new formats, and new models of delivery. It's resulting in IISE being able to deliver a more diverse array of products in some new and different ways to a broader audience than we could have ever reached in person. We're nearing the end of my presentation. By now, I hope you can see that IISE is continuing in its mission to focus on serving the profession of industrial and systems engineering. And these activities benefit you in so many ways. I've tried to give you just a snapshot of some of them. You can see the 4 pillars again from the strategic plan in front of you right now. And if you've got sharp eyes, you notice down the side, they spell out IISE. That's not accidental. The profession is rapidly growing worldwide, and we're working with a number of other associations around the world to unite that profession. We pride ourselves on the diversity and inclusion that IISE delivers and provides for all people interested in the profession of industrial engineering. We strive to provide an excellent experience to everyone who engages with us. And we're going to continue to reach out to new markets with innovative products and strategies. I think we're building a strong foundation for future success. In summary, membership in IISE meets your needs in 3 important ways. It helps you maintain your stature as a professional throughout your career. We help you transition into whatever role you take as your career progresses, always maintaining your strengths, but also developing new ISE strengths to succeed in new roles. And finally, we make you more valuable to employers by enhancing the value of your degree. I can't emphasize enough to you that IISE or your own professions association, if you're not an industrial engineer, is going to be a valuable asset to you throughout your career. Considering this value and what it can mean in your career, I really believe that everyone should maintain their membership after graduation, or they should join for the first time if they're not already a member. I really see it as an excellent investment in your future. Before I completely close, I want to take this opportunity to offer my sincere congratulations to the Unitec Honduras IISE University chapter. You're celebrating your 20th anniversary, and that's quite a momentous accomplishment. Congratulations to the faculty who have provided the continuity to reach this milestone, as well as today's students and the student leaders who continue to move your chapter forward. I want to thank you very much for inviting me to speak to this group and to help you celebrate this great accomplishment today. If you want to know more about us, And if you're not currently a member, but you think you want to learn about the benefits and consider joining, I put our website information on this last slide. I think you're going to find that ISE is going to make you more successful wherever your career takes you. Thank you again for allowing me to speak to you, and I'm available for any questions you may have. And it's been a lot of fun. I wish I could have been there in person. It's a lot more fun to look you in the eye than it is to look at this computer screen. But for now, this is the best we're going to be able to do. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Don, for your presentation. The Institute's importance and role in our environments, our personal development as industrial engineers, industrial and systems engineers, and our profession in general was presented in a very pleasant and clear way. I am sure it's been very enriching for all of us. Now we will start with a round of questions from the audience. We have first question from Daniel Montenegro. What would you recommend to students that are uncertain of which division of industrial and systems engineering they would like to pursue further?
This is kind of a pat answer, but I would ask you what your passion is, because the beauty of our profession is that you can go so many different directions, whether it's service, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's distribution, whether it's retail. I know someone who's made a good career actually in entertainment. He's actually working as an industrial engineer in the entertainment industry, and he's using his IE skills to build a business. And the other thing I'll tell you, I know your students, most of you, and I know you're looking for that first job. But if you remember my story, I hated my first job, and I didn't know that until I got into it. But the other beautiful thing about our profession is that you're mobile and you're able to move so many different directions. So think about where you think you want to go and go in that direction and look for that. And if you get there and it's not what you thought it was going to be, go somewhere else, because it's not hard to find a job as an industrial engineer, and it's not hard to change careers. It's not hard to change industries. So really, you're going to have to look at the opportunities before you and decide which one you think is going to be best suited for your skills and your strengths and your desires, but don't think you're locked in. You can always change. You can always go where you want to go to be happier and to be more successful. I've done that. I certainly did not think I'd end up in nonprofits, but I've loved every minute of it. So look for your passion. And then when you get there, decide if that's really all you thought it was going to be, or there are better things available to you.
Okay. Thank you, Don. We have another question from Daniela Gonzalez. She's asking, what do you recommend to young leaders to get involved in big institutions as the IISE, and how can they help improving the world we live in, being an industrial and systems engineer? What do you recommend to young leaders?
Yeah, in terms of getting involved, I will tell you, and I told a couple of stories during my presentation. Stay engaged, get active, don't be quiet, don't sit on the sidelines. When you join IISE, there's no shortage of opportunities to engage, whether it's your local chapter, whether it's conferences. We have an international operations board that right now is being led by Gould Creamer, and they have volunteer leaders all over the world that are trying to help establish the profession and the institute in other parts of the world where you may not be as strong in. So if you get involved, there'll be chances, and you volunteer, there'll be chances for you to lead, and there'll be great opportunities for you to develop your skills that will make you more successful both in ISE and in your jobs. As far as improving the world we live in, that's another beautiful thing that industrial engineers can do. I mentioned sustainability. And right now, and I'd say over the last decade, sustainability and sustainable organizations has become a real important element, not just for big companies, but for small ones. We have a sustainability division. And so if you want to make sure that the world is a better, safer, cleaner environment to live in, we've got a division of people who focus solely on that. And one thing they do every year at the annual conference, for example, is they sponsor an activity that with a local group, wherever the conference is being held, and that enables them to go out and practice industrial engineering. Maybe it's a food bank, maybe it's cleaning up an area, maybe it's it's practicing putting our skills to work in ways that do make the world better. And if you know industrial engineering, and I know as students you all do, efficiency, effectiveness, quality, all those are keywords in making the world better, not just in making companies more successful.
True. We can have many industrial engineers in politics, in fields, medicine, also in many things that are super important. Jose Carlos Gallegos is asking, for a member who just started studying, what is the best advice you can give to get the most out of the membership? Because I believe we don't know much about the profession when we're starting. So how can we get the most out of it?
I think what you can do, your chapter is 20 years old, and as we saw, you win awards every year. So your chapter is a very actively engaged chapter. So one of the best things you can do is to begin to go to the chapter meetings, and I'm sure that chapter is looking for leaders of their own. We're always looking for volunteer leaders. So when you have a chance to get out there, maybe you're going to host an event, a training course, or a conference. Facilitate that, lead that, make it happen. And the best thing to do, and really that does two things. It develops your leadership skills, but it helps you build that network because you get to know so many more people. I know when I was a student a long time ago, it's sometimes kind of hard to get to know your fellow classmates because you work on some projects together. You may go out after class and do something, but really we've all got our own lives. But if you're out there actively engaged in a group like an IISE student chapter, you're learning about the profession and you're building the network. I still stay in touch. I got a call just on Sunday from someone I went to school with that was an IISE member when I was at Georgia Tech. So you will always have that network to lean on and to call on, and you just can't beat. There's nothing better than having a professional network in every way that will help you in your career, will help you learn about the profession as you're starting out. And another thing I want to suggest to you, we have a mentoring program at IISE, and I reach out to our membership department, and they can put you in touch with some mentors who are older members that are willing and able to volunteer and to help guide you in your progression, both as a student and after you graduate. We've got mentors who are offering to give back. They want to help our younger members and our student members get off on the right foot. So our mentoring program is another opportunity in ISE to get started and to build some good relationships that will help guide you as you make decisions.
Okay, Edwin Dore is asking, as industrial and systems engineers, what can we do to reduce the impact of companies on the environment and reduce global warming?
Excellent question. And the good thing is that companies themselves are discovering how important that is. And as I mentioned in my presentation, what they're learning is it's not just good for society, it's good business. It helps them control their costs, which is always something they're focused on. And I mentioned sustainability, and sustainability is really all about better using resources in more efficient ways that do impact global warming and the environment. So if you're an ISE member, our sustainability division focuses on that. We have an entire track at the annual conference that focuses on sustainability. And it's really just a matter of getting involved after you graduate, probably, in whatever company you're working in, and learning what their focus is in the area of sustainability and getting engaged in that. And your skills as an industrial engineer will make you valuable to that team and to that company. And here again, you'll be using skills that might not be traditional industrial engineering education, but you'll be using them in a different way that'll make you more valuable in your job.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Luis Casas, we have many questions. Luis Casas is asking, is Georgia Tech the best institute to get a master's degree related to industrial engineering?
Well, I have to say yes.
Because it's on record. No, I'm just kidding.
There are a lot of good schools. There are a lot of good schools all over the world. Georgia Tech happens to be the biggest, at least in the United States, in industrial engineering. And I think they're the biggest in the world. Monterey Tech is also very large in Mexico. And Georgia Tech has campuses around the world. I'm not sure what their connection is in Central America, but I know they are active. They actually have a connection to Monterrey Tech at Mexico. They're active in China. Georgia Tech, because of their size, and they're well known, they're renowned, but there are a lot of good ones. I mean, I'm more familiar with those in the United States than those in other parts of the world, but you can look in, U.S. News and World Report publishes rankings of programs. They separate their rankings by undergraduate and graduate programs. So if you just want to look for the graduate programs, you can see those rankings. But Georgia Tech is number one. They are the top ranked program, but I think that's as much evidence of their size than anything else. They're much larger than anybody else, at least in the United States. So they're good. I'm not just saying that because it's my alma mater. They're a very good school.
We have another question from Rodrigo Sosa T. We, as students, what are the most valuable opportunities from an educational perspective we can take for our future professional life?
I would say get a varied education as much as you can. That's one of the shortcomings of some engineering programs. And it's probably not as bad now as it was when I was in school. Industrial engineers graduate with excellent technical skills. We're good at math. We're good at operations research. We're good at systems modeling. We're good at information technology. Sometimes we're not so good at people skills. We're not so good at presentations. We're not so good at speaking. We're not so good at working in teams. So take every chance you can to broaden your education beyond the technical skills. We love the technical skills and we're good at them. That's why we became engineers to start with. But when you graduate, you're going to discover when you begin to work out in companies that you're going to be thrown in with some cross-functional teams of non-engineers. Maybe they're English majors, maybe they're writers, maybe they're marketing people, maybe they're business majors. They may not understand all the technical things you throw at them, and you've got to be able to communicate both to your supervisors and superiors as well as your peers your good ideas in ways they understand and they embrace. Otherwise, your good ideas will be for naught because they'll be ignored. So I would say improve your communication skills and get a broad educational base that goes beyond engineering.
Okay. Thank you. I think we're done with the question. No, wait, there's another one. How do you picture an industrial and systems engineering job in 20 years from now?
Oh, gosh. 20 years ago, I certainly didn't see where we are today. Maybe in 20 years, we'll be running the world. I don't know, and it'll be a better place. But I think we're going to continue to progress. I think we're going to continue to contribute and be valuable in every area of industry and academia. I mean, right now, for example, one of the companies in the world that is making a difference is Apple. I think we all know Apple. Their CEO is an industrial engineer. Mm-hmm. And that's true of a lot of other companies. Walmart just recently had an industrial engineer. UPS had an industrial engineer. So General Motors had an industrial engineer. There are some presidents of some countries that are industrial engineers. So industrial engineers, I think, are natural leaders. And I mentioned engineers and their lack of people skills. Industrial engineers are ahead of a lot of the other engineering disciplines in that area because of our coursework. So I think industrial engineers are natural leaders, and many of them are successful. So I think we're going to just continue to become leaders and influencers in the world. And let's face it, quality, improve effectiveness, efficiency are always going to be important traits. Logistics, supply chain, cost control, those are the things we're best at. Projections, forecasting, and we're good at it. We're better than anybody else. So I think you'll keep seeing industrial engineers progressing as more and more people begin to recognize the value that we bring.
Okay. Thanks a lot. That was the last question. I thank you for being with us today, for your presentation, and for being with us in our 20th anniversary. Once again, we are very honored to have you. It was very enriching. And now I'm going to switch back to Spanish for the closure.
All right. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Agradecemos a todos los participantes y asistentes a este evento virtual. Reciban de la Universidad Tecnológica Centroamericana, Unitec, de la Facultad de Ingeniería y del capítulo Unitec Honduras 977 y Unitec San Pedro Sula 709, un afectuoso saludo a la distancia. Feliz día a todos y todas.